Hi there, my name is Laura Baer and I'm your local Aussie girl realtor and I work for Porchlight Real Estate Group. I wanted to pop on quickly and make a video about the things that I found challenging about moving from Texas to Colorado and the things that caught me off guard, and also the things that I just find to be amazing about Colorado in comparison to Texas. So here we go. I would say first and foremost would be the weather. And I know that sounds so silly because most people know it's cold and snows in Colorado, which I did know, but I guess I didn't realize and account for how cold it gets. I did not have shoes appropriate to wear in the snow. I did not have a good winter coat coming from Texas, even gloves. I didn't even own a pair. So that was first sort of course of action, was to go and get the right clothing. And then also what caught me off guard was how hot it gets here in the summer. You know, had I have known that, I would have put a pool in my backyard, but it is, because you're so elevated and so close to the sun, yeah, it's aggressive in the summer. So I found that quite shocking as well, is the extreme differences in temperature. Then, of course, secondly would be home prices. Not only home prices, but the size of the lots. So I lived in the Woodlands in Houston, Texas, and we had a rather large yard. I think it was 11,000 square feet. And then here they seem to put like rather large homes on much smaller lots. So that was kind of shocking, that you get a postage stamp for your backyard and they're going to charge you an arm and a leg for it. So that was a big eye opener, was how little space you actually get for the price, and then how much more expensive homes really are here. So that was eye opening for sure. Thirdly, the lack of Tex-Mex. Like, that stuff is good. And if you haven't had it, you should definitely go and try it. And if you have had it, you know what I'm talking about. Like, it is so delicious, and there's just it doesn't really exist here, and I miss it. But there is still good Mexican. I really do enjoy Rio in Boulder, and they have one in Denver as well, if you're looking for good Mexican food. But I do miss my Tex-Mex. The fourth thing I would have to say that really struck me was just the landscape in general, and how different they are, and how beautiful Colorado really is. And I have to pull myself up sometimes. For example, when I'm hitting the slopes with my kids, I stop and I just, or when you're in the chairlift and you're going up the hill and you're just looking out over these snow-covered trees, and you're like, wow, this is absolutely beautiful, and this is my life. Like, I can choose to do this on my weekends, or I can take a day off work and go ski. It's just really amazing. Or you can go into the national park and go hike in the summer and the fall and watch the change of color in the aspens. And we're just so fortunate here to have this at our fingertips. As opposed to Texas, don't get me wrong, beautiful, beautiful state, but I do feel like nature-wise, Colorado does have a lot more to offer for you to go and see and enjoy. Plus, we have 305 days of sunshine a year, which makes it more palatable, and it's just not so hot, aggressively humid like Texas is. So that has been a bonus. So I think the fifth point I would like to make is the altitude, and how much that can or cannot affect some people. I know when I first moved here, I was like, oh, this isn't so bad. But then I did a day in the mountains, like high up in the mountains, and I exercised, and yeah, it did catch up with me. Plus, on other times when we've had family visit or friends visit from out of state, they've had some weird symptoms, like shortness of breath or swelling. Like, one of my friends, her face just got really swollen. Some random side effects, but that's definitely something to consider, is the altitude and how it might take you a little bit of time to adjust to that. I hope that was at least a little bit helpful for someone out there. And by all means, don't hesitate to reach out if you have any more questions. I'm happy to share any part of my experience with you. And I want to leave off with a funny story. about house hunting here in Colorado in the winter. Obviously I knew nothing about the cold and what it meant to winterize a home. And I was out with my realtor who I'd just met that day, flew in here from Texas. He picked me up from the airport, me and my girlfriend, and we went out house hunting. And unbeknownst to me, the house was empty, so it had been winterized, which I was not aware of, and had to use the restroom. And then I was mortified to discover that I could not flush the toilet. So I had to tell him, hey, by the way, like, what do I do? Just leave it there? I didn't know what to do. So I told him, and we all had a good laugh. And then he had to call the listing agent, share that information. So yeah, as you can imagine, I was absolutely mortified, so embarrassed in front of this man. And I'll never live it down with my girlfriends because they thought it was hilarious. So anyway.